7:04. Welcome to the October 16th, 2024 Berlin Conservation Commission meeting. As a reminder, open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and voice will be recorded. So don't say anything.
Never stopped me before.
All right, minutes. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I did too. I was very proud. Any changes or corrections? Hearing no, I will take a motion to approve the minutes of the October 2nd meeting.
So moved.
Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Sorry.
Uh,
Off my own little world.
Treasurer's report.
No real updates, so the wetlands account is at $14,531.57. Open space, we have $28,302.78. And for the annual budget, we have $1,519.
All right, thank you, Maddie. Bills and forms.
No bills, no forms, but I remember, Walter, last meeting you said you wanted to get reimbursed for the wattles. Do you have a receipt for that?
Did I couldn't find a bill that I thought, did I put it in the, was it in the mail?
I didn't see it in there.
Okay, well, I'll look around,
Oh,
look in a
okay.
few more drawers, I'm sorry.
Okay, sounds good.
Right up and on.
All right, well, it's not, April, so.
Yeah, okay.
All right, mail and notices.
One second, what can we spend the wetlands money on?
Wetlands related, so actually, like the wattles, when we reimburse you, we can probably reimburse you out
Okay.
of the wetlands
Okay.
fund.
No.
So it has to be directly related to wetlands
Wetlands.
expenditures.
Yeah, but education can be included into that. So if you were to take any of the MACC courses, we can
Okay.
fund it through
Oh,
there.
Yep.
okay.
Say if we wanted to buy
Yeah.
like an auger, we could purchase an auger through there.
Okay,
Or
yeah, yeah.
Yep,
All right, fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
you're welcome. Okay, mail and notices.
It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, like lots and lots of, hey, come to this meeting, hey, come to that
Yeah.
meeting, and they're all daytime meetings, so.
Yeah.
But I will remind everybody, because we did get an email about this, the MACC Fall Conference is this weekend. If anybody is interested in taking any classes, I'm sure you can probably show up that day. Hello, did you get your?
I did.
Is that? Sorry. I was like, is that?
Yeah, he finally came back. He's old and deaf, so.
So we were just reminding everybody, the MACC conference, fall conference is this Saturday at Devon's.
Okay.
Is anyone going?
Maddie's definitely going. I don't know if AJ often will take classes. But he's on an airplane right now, so I can't ask him.
I hope to go, but I just got assigned grandparent duty on Saturday, so
Yep.
I guess
Well, there'll be a spring conference, and the spring one is the big one anyway, so.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yep.
Has that date set yet, or do they do that?
It probably is. It's usually
Mid-March.
early mid-March,
Yeah.
like the 7th-ish,
Mhm.
March
Okay.
7th, and it's at Notre Dame in Worcester.
Or Holy Cross.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
Holy Cross, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's well worth sitting in on the classes. They're always they might not always be relevant. Sometimes they're more focus it more on larger towns, but it's always good to learn about problems we don't have also. All right, and Maplewood still going well.
Yep.
Yep.
I haven't seen any more soil
No, neither have I.
samplings, so.
Um,
Yeah.
Highland Ridge most recent monitoring report, we actually have
We have progress.
movement,
Yep,
yes.
Yep,
What?
they
Yeah.
removed the wood chips and are actively working on seeding and hydro seeding it.
Oh, wow.
So,
Right?
Yep. Yep, and,
Very exciting.
Patrick Garner also walked the silt fence, the area that, AJ was concerned last time. You know, the reinforced silt fence behind the basin outlet.
Yep.
And he thinks that can be removed at this point, so I think probably makes sense to order them to remove all the silt fence at this point.
I agree, especially before they forget that it's
Yeah.
there and
And-
it
yeah.
stays, rots in the woods.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
my question is though, the large wall, you know, behind the pond, nothing was done there, and I thought did I miss something there?
So
When
there's,
AJ and I
there's
looked
the
at it.
concrete box, and then there's like almost like a berm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's tall, well, it's what, maybe 10 or 12 feet, or
Yeah.
maybe it's more than that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, weren't they supposed, I thought they were gonna treat that, is that not the case?
Seed it?
Well, yeah, to get rid of the wood chips on there, cause there's
I
wood
didn't-
chips.
Oh, I didn't
Really?
realize.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize there were wood
There's
chips
wood
there.
chips there too. Now, when AJ and I went 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, there were some, I was sharing with Linda, you know, there's some seedlings are growing,
Right.
but again, they're tiny.
So is it just wood chips kind of sprinkled on the top? Because the problem with this was the depth of the wood chips. Like if it was soil and they put down some wood chips on top to keep them so that they could use equipment and not get bogged down in mud or something, that's different.
Well, really, AJ should be the one to, I mean, he was there with me but there are wood chips on the side, you know, on that berm wall, whatever
Right.
you wanna call it, and nothing has been done there. Now, there is some growth there, and again, you wouldn't want regular seed because, you know, how can you use mowers on there? I mean, that would
Right.
make, you know, the sèches or, you know, I mean, again, that would seem, I
Right.
thought that's what AJ was sort of interested in, but I didn't even know they were gonna do what they did. I mean, this was more.
Well, we didn't either. We've been asking them to do it for about
Obviously.
6 months, and then all of a sudden, one
Right.
day.
So, and again, I don't know that it's necessarily an imminent threat, but again, long-term wise, and, you know, it's expensive to, I would think, to get that done, so. but
Right,
again-
right, so Pat certainly hasn't brought that up. I will talk to AJ about it when he gets back.
Right,
But again, the problem here was the depth of the wood
no,
chips.
understood,
Yeah.
understood that,
And
right.
that would have taken, as it decomposed, it would have left a hole, you know, it would,
Right.
and so that is not a permanent way to stabilize that. But we'll definitely make
Right.
sure that the berm is also the way it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, they're obviously not nearly as thick as that lower area there was
Right.
that's been treated. But again, I don't know for a long-term solution. But again, I would think, obviously Patrick is the one, right, along with AJ, so.
Right. But yeah, like great progress.
It is.
I really was not optimistic that they were gonna do anything about that, and I'm very glad that they have.
And they even took the sign down.
Which sign? There was a sign?
Well, your good friend and ours, they took the Highland Ridge sign down, the sales sign, because supposedly they've sold them.
Oh,
Well,
Last I heard, they were under agreement.
all right, excellent.
for what it's worth.
All right. Anything else about that?
Nope.
Any questions about that?
What's the blue?
Did they, it looks like erosion, like the jute mat?
Yes.
Yeah, jute mat and
It is.
hydroseed.
Right.
Yep,
It was, that's actually green.
yeah.
It's very colorful.
Yep. This
Came out
printer,
blue
this
in the
printer,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was green,
Yeah.
I saw
This
it.
printer
Yeah.
needs a little yellow ink, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, so, hopefully, you know, they certainly did it at the right time of year, which, again, pleasantly surprised.
So, I guess I just don't know whether they still have to strip off the wood chips that are on, that were, you know, berm or whatever, or can it just be can it be seeded with other native plants, for example?
Right, and, you know, once there's no disturbance, so on the backside of that,
On the backside.
right,
So you're
on
talking
the
on the
backside.
far side of it, or on the?
Well, yes, going, as you go down to the right,
Okay,
that's where
if you're looking from, like, if you're looking at that concrete box, are you talking about the far side of it?
Yes.
That you can't see in the photos?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I took
I mean,
not that you need to
ostensibly, that shouldn't be an erosion issue unless there's a tremendous rain event that actually washes up and over it anyway, because there's.
Well, and
so-
again, I defer to the
Yeah.
experts
Yeah.
on that, but I know that we certainly looked at that and really wondered, and
Okay,
I mean, again, it looks pretty much like the other area did, except without the
Okay.
depth, you know, not knowing the depth issue.
right. Okay, yeah, we'll,
Follow up with
see,
AJ.
we'll just make sure that
Here, I mean,
it's,
if you wanna, I just took those. It doesn't show you very much, but, you know, that area is not,
That's a whole lot of wood chips.
yeah, a lot of wood chips still.
Hmm.
And obviously, some have fallen down, obviously, so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anywhere near the depth issue we had that has been mediated, but,
Yeah. So you-
right, yeah. Okay, we will look into that and make sure that what is there is okay.
thank you.
All right, CSX derailment Allen Road.
So I have nothing for that, but I realized I probably should have made you guys vote last meeting for the CSX Northbrook to lift the enforcement order of that one.
Oh,
So if you guys wanna.
Sure.
Vote to lift the enforcement order,
Was
that'd
that
be great.
the railroad ties?
Yeah,
That were dumped in the
yeah,
wetlands?
yep.
Yep. Right, so it's all cleaned up, so we just need to vote to lift the enforcement order.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor of lifting the enforcement order, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And so then, are we all done with that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Have we closed out the NOI?
Oh, so for Allen Road, we're not done. We still
Okay.
need to, yeah.
Right.
We're
so-
giving another growing
and-
season to
yeah,
see.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay, and the same with River Road West, so
Right.
those are just gonna be on there for a
Yep,
while.
just sitting. Yep.
Yep, okay.
They still had a bunch of silt fence and wattles down there too at Allen Road, when we were down there last.
Yes.
Yep, and I think,
We
yeah,
did talk.
Jonathan came in.
Right, and we had him, we talked about removing some of that silt fence, especially along the other side.
Right.
Do
Where
we
it
know
fall
if
down.
he's done it?
It's a good question. I'll look into that.
Okay. Awesome. All right, ladies.
Who
We're
wants
4
to come
minutes
to the
late.
table?
Come on up.
I know, I've never been at the table either.
I
This is
know.
like exciting.
All right.
No, is there a sign-in sheet?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Okay,
Okay.
we're good.
Great. If you want to explain why you're here.
Yes, absolutely. So, as a continuation of the recent monitoring report that was done, Just to give you some history, other than previous history, Highland Ridge is now under the trustees for the community. So what does that mean? That means that Jill, myself, and one other trustee are now taking over property management for Highland Ridge Condominium Trust. So that has already been through. Everything was reported and registered back on the 19th of September. And so we are transitioning from the current management company, and the three of us are going to manage the association community here going forward. The reason we are here today is because of the monitoring that was being done and the fact that it was right out my back door as far as being on Spofford. I could see all the activity that was going on, and then happened to see Patrick there at the same time. So that prompted me to write an email to Patrick asking what was going on, because we now don't want any work done unless it comes through the three of us as trustees. So what Patrick wrote back to me, and the reason for the request is that in no way will the Homes at Highland Ridge Condominium Trust be taking on any financial burden for what is happening right now. That includes the $2,400 a month that Patrick is being paid, or what it's going to take for the Homes at Highland Ridge LLC, which is Mr. Benincasa, in obtaining that certificate of compliance. So all of those costs are going to be associated with him and not to the association, to the condominium trust. So we, want to understand, okay, given they've made progress, I saw the progress being made, ultimately don't know about what Phil just brought up, but ultimately, what is going to be necessary for you folks to call this complete, as far as that completion of compliance, or certificate of compliance, sorry.
Well, so first of all, this was huge. This was one of the last things on the list. We will consider the site stable and that they have met the order of conditions once Patrick tells us that they have, that it's all good, exactly. So
Okay.
he is the hired,
Wetland scientist.
so wetland scientist, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, person?
Expert.
It's been a long day. And professional, who is being paid by Benincasa, or by the Homes at Highland Ridge.
Yep.
LLC,
LLC.
yes. In order for them as the applicant to complete the notice of intent filing and the requirements of the order of conditions. So all of that still remains his responsibility.
We just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
That
I
you
know.
weren't changing
Yep,
your
and
address on the
right,
bills.
Yeah,
Right.
correct, and that's just not how it works.
Okay.
It is the applicant of the person who did the filing, who
And they
the
did the
order.
filing for it.
Yep,
Or-
and who the order of conditions was issued to. It is their responsibility to complete the work.
Well, so the order of conditions does transfer with whoever purchases the property. So I think it's, so like think
That's
of
true, we did,
61 Lancaster, where Chris Hansen put it through all the filing and then sold the property to the Savoy Modular Homes. So then they took on the order of conditions. So essentially, when you're closing on it, or whatever, the lawyers need to make sure that
Well, there's no lawyers
there was no
involved.
transfer.
There's no transfer.
there's no transfer.
Ultimately, we're taking over the property management component
Okay.
in paying our vendors for
Waste
landscaping
disposal
and the
and-
waste
right.
and
Yeah.
insurance and all that. That's what we're taking over.
Right, but
We're-
you haven't taken possession of the property because
Well,
that's
we
now
all have.
all.
We've taken 166.
Right.
Each of us has taken 166 in purchasing the property.
Yeah, so we, in, Worcester, we, you know, have this a lot where this contractor comes in, builds this huge subdivision, and then just kind of leaves the order conditions as is, and then say, years later, you wanna sell your house, and you have this deed restriction on your house now, cause there's an open order of conditions, so they have to like come through and partially, it's like, oh, well, that was built in the 90s, it's stabilized now, so now we have to issue a partial certificate of compliance.
To every property owner?
Pretty much, yeah. But,
Which I don't think you folks really wanna do.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally.
So that's why we're like,
Yeah.
okay, so how long is this process gonna be? Because we wanna have it finalized yesterday.
Sure,
Yeah.
so you guys have already taken possession of
Well, we
the,
filed at the registry
We
as
filed-
taking,
As
trustees.
As trustees for the condominium trust.
right,
Is there any sort of contract or anything between you
Nope.
and?
Nothing.
No.
Other than our own purchase of the property.
Okay.
But is there an effective date? Forgive me, I can't remember seeing what.
September 19th.
September 19th, when it got recorded in Worcester, the Registry of Deeds.
So at this time, what would it take? Do you walk that, Matty?
So I haven't been out there recently to walk it.
So shouldn't we get like Pat to come in and exactly where we are, what really are the issues?
Mhm.
Get that straightened out and then give a final approval, and then
Yeah.
everything would be clear.
Right.
Would that be
I
the
don't-
easy way to do it?
I don't think we're gonna get final approval until there's established grass
may
on
not
that
happen
hill,
till- You
wanted to
isn't
wait
gonna
till
happen
the
till
spring.
Till the
Yep.
spring.
Yeah.
right,
And we'll want like an as-built
Right.
plan for everything too.
And then if that back
Close
slope
it up.
on the berm is an issue too, then they've gotta take care of that as well.
So we're talking next year?
Yeah, which
Probably in the spring, at least.
But I can rest assure you, we will not have any funds to be able to do this certificate of compliance, nor will we be paying Patrick. I want to make that crystal clear.
yeah, I mean, as far as we're concerned, the applicant is responsible.
Okay, which is
Which
the
is
Homes
LLC.
Ed-
Which is the LLC.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're not
Right,
the
as far as
LLC.
we're concerned.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That is who applied for the, applied for who submitted the notice of intent and who the order of conditions was issued to. The only, and because there's not something about you guys taking over that mandates that he, provide a certificate of insurance,
Compliance.
thank you.
Not easy to say.
Letting my other jobs
Yeah.
run in. A certificate of compliance, usually the only other motivator is if there is a bank involved. And the bank would require that.
He does have a mortgage that gets partially released with every unit that sells.
So,
But you've got the last 2 units under agreement, right?
Under agreement, but not closed.
But not closed.
Understood.
right.
But
And there are some, depending on what winds up happening, there is litigation against him right now.
Right, right.
So they may not close as soon as he may want them to,
Sure.
depending on what the buyer's
But-
gonna do.
But, right, par for the course up there.
Yeah.
that might actually, having them not sold might actually help you guys out though in terms of his
right.
liability.
Right.
Because I'm not sure what the legality is, I don't know that any of us are, but like, once the units are closed and he's, like, you know, I live in the Eco Village and we got stuck with some interesting situations over there too. But we'd have to probably talk to council to really be sure what the issues are.
Yeah, and we're in open meetings, so we're not gonna talk about any details of litigation.
Mhm.
Well, and you guys probably can't anyway.
Right.
But, if it's possible to add to whatever's going on the requirement that he obtain a certificate of compliance to whatever else is going on, that would certainly be your most concrete way of making sure that he does what he's supposed to do.
Okay.
So that-
Because he has to request from us a certificate of compliance. We can't just issue it.
And you're telling me this is gonna be until next summer anyway?
Or at least until the spring, till the grass starts to grow in. I mean, I guess another, if everybody wants to part ways sooner than that, there could be an escrow account that's set up, that if there are any issues in the spring, you guys have funds for that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not, but that is a thing that people do sometimes when, things drag out.
Once again, we are not taking on any financial liability for any of this.
Yeah, and as far as we're concerned, you would not be liable, he would be liable. The issue for you guys, if he does not receive a certificate of compliance, every time someone tries to sell their house,
It'll come up.
it'll come up.
Why did you three organize to take care of what?
Property management.
Property management.
So if you hadn't formed your little group, wouldn't he still be responsible for property management?
Yes, but that's the problem, is that we want to be sure that our money for our HOAs is coming in and it's going to the right resources. That's
And
the
that was
whole
always
reason.
always the intent, anyway.
Correct.
Well, and
Yes.
At the time, we weren't aware of Patrick's
Yeah, we had
expense.
no idea
Yeah, I
until
had no
he and
idea how much
I
I
corresponded back at the beginning of October.
Right. I knew that they were responsible for paying him, I didn't realize it was a monthly retainer.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, again,
So if Patrick is being retained by him, it behooves Patrick to continue this as long as he wants to, and having it not till next spring or summer, he's gonna be paid $2,400 from him, because he's definitely not getting it from us.
yeah, and we really don't have anything to do with that.
Understood.
One way or
again-
another, however, whatever agreement they came up with about how that was gonna happen, that was outside of us. All we required was that, a wetlands monitor be hired and paid for by the applicant.
Right.
And that is, and as far as we're concerned, he's still the applicant.
Okay.
I mean, he is the applicant.
Okay.
All right.
So if we think about then springtime, whatever that date is, where we wanna do the monitoring, I mean, should he, well, let's just say he doesn't wanna pay him, or it becomes in arrears, do we need to have a final check? Would the committee do that, or is that again, or the commission do that?
That would be between Pat and Highland Ridge LLC.
Got it. Okay.
So I know that there's a cost for getting the certificate of compliance.
So there's no upfront cost. It's not, you don't have to pay a filing fee or anything for it, but there is a cost in the sense that you have to have an as-built plan developed with it, which can be costly through the engineers, but.
Yeah, and, I would pull whatever levers you guys have to require him to provide an as-built to the trustees.
Which they should pretty much have that, considering what happened last year.
Yeah, they
Right.
had
They had to go out and do all the elevations.
Right, they had
to do the basin for us. they
And
had
all
to-
the buildings were up at the
Yeah.
point they did that.
Right,
Yep.
right, and the grading hasn't really changed
Nope.
No.
since
No.
then.
Cause all the grass was in
Right,
when they did that.
so they
yeah.
should,
But it's an
It's-
as-built site plan they need,
Yeah.
right, more than anything else,
Yeah.
for our purposes.
right,
Yeah.
right, which would show the location of the units, the
That-
streets, and the topography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Which
they
we-
pretty much,
We had that whole thing
Correct.
done.
Yeah.
right,
That,
So it's 90-ish% probably done.
Mhm.
yeah,
did any grading change substantially since that was done?
no.
Mm-mm.
Did Russo Brothers do that
Russo
plan?
did all that.
No,
John
Grenier. did.
Grenier.
Oh,
Yeah.
John
Good.
Grenier.
Yep.
Good,
Yeah,
cause he didn't
'cause-
pay Russo.
Right. Yeah, but right,
I think that might count, I mean.
yeah, so, you know, if you guys wanna get in touch with John to see if he'll provide you with what
Mhm.
has already been done.
Right. Does anyone have his information? I probably have it in
Yeah, I
notes
can send
some-
you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, and that is the biggest expense for,
Yeah.
for COC.
Okay. Just let Patrick
But-
know he doesn't have a free ride from us, though.
Yeah, again, we really had we absolutely had nothing to do with whatever
Mhm.
agreement
Right.
they made.
Other than you wanted a monthly report?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
or a report every time he went out. For sure.
Okay.
Are all the units sold now?
Other than two, which are contingent, and we're checking the registry of deeds to see if they've still, been registered, and nothing yet. All it shows is some of the litigation against him.
Right.
Also, it might be worth, try looking up your properties next time you're on Registry of Deeds, see if an order pops up in your listings, just to see
Okay.
if it is,
Oh, yeah.
Sitting over
See
yours.
if the open order of conditions
Mhm.
is listed on each property.
I don't think I've
Interesting.
seen that, but I'll go
Yeah.
back and.
Right.
Yeah, they'll be
Because
the
if it's
same.
not, then the lack of a certificate of compliance won't be a problem when you go to sell.
Which won't be for a while.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's hope.
When your kids go to sell it.
Seriously, when the children go to sell it.
Yeah.
For real. Okay. All right, well, thanks for hearing us out.
Yeah. We wish you the best.
Yeah. And I guess you're not surprised that I'm sitting here as.
I am not, and if the situation was reversed, you wouldn't be surprised if it was me.
Exactly.
Yep, so,
Right.
I think you guys are gonna do great.
Yeah.
And
I
if
should
there's
do this.
anything else that we can do in the future to
Yeah.
help you out,
Sounds good.
we are always here for you.
Makes,
And I'm happy to put on the record, it was a unanimous vote.
There was
Three-
only 3 candidates.
Three candidates for 3 seats.
Democracy worked,
Yeah.
believe it or
Correct,
not.
it did,
And
yeah.
we're honored to have these 3
Absolutely,
talented,
and I
activists
was trying to
take
get
over.
Jill here, so, and
Well,
you
you got
grabbed
that.
her, and we,
Right.
yep. Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys.
All right,
you.
good
Good
to
luck.
see everyone.
Bye. Take care.
All right.
See you later.
After all that, I
Yeah, right?
They can send those this way.
It's kind of the time of year for these in a way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so no new business, which is great. The notice of intent.
Let me ask you
Oh,
something, I wanted to talk a little bit about the rail trail, my meeting with them, would that come under this or down?
That
Oh,
would be a
down
little bit further,
Trail
yep.
mail- Got
Yep.
it, got it.
The notice of intent for Berlin Meadows.
so I'm still working on setting that up. I was out there measuring to see how much bank we affected.
Okay.
Or improved.
Next time you get down, call me and I'll go with you.
The grass is starting to come in.
I
Nice.
know it.
Yeah, it's starting to spread out, so
I know it.
it was looking good. I think you it was a vast improvement from what was there, so.
Still no water.
Yep, still no water. I took pictures of it today, so I could, yeah. But we are technically in a drought right now, so we can't
Can't resist.
declare anything as intermittent until
Just
we're
one
out of the
more.
drought.
Yes, we can.
So, let's see. It's not actually on here, but, the parking lot at Lyman.
Yep.
I've been talking with, so I got in touch with Kristen to see if it was possible for us to use CPA funds to pay the highway department to do the work. And she said yes. So, she's still waiting to hear from June about that, but I would rather have our guys do it.
Do they wanna do it?
Yeah, so Fred is definitely up for it, and, so I've been, and Ethan, we've been talking back and forth with Fred a little bit about it. I will see if they have any wetlands mix, seed mix,
Oh, yep.
stuck in a corner somewhere or something,
Mhm.
to use over there. It's probably a little bit late in the year at this point, but
To what?
to put down some seed over at Berlin Meadows.
Oh. What needs to be done at Berlin Meadows?
DEP asked for wetlands mix.
There's no need of that. There's no wetland soils there. I put down grass seed. The grass is coming up. Within 2 years, there'll be goldenrod, bittersweet, multi-floral rose.
Yay.
And everything is
Yeah.
perfectly all right. I'm not putting down wetland seed. There's no need to. It's dry. There's no wetlands up there where the soil is. So there's no need to put down wetland seed.
Mhm.
You said the grass is coming up,
Yep,
didn't
the
it?
grass is poking up.
Okay.
And, yeah, I don't think they realized it was just like a clear
Right.
field.
It's perfectly
Right
all
up
right
to
the
it.
way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then never mind. 61 Lancaster.
Yep, so I did reach out to Scott again. He said he is working on an as-built showing the proper gradings. They're gonna work on scheduling another site visit. The gravel area, the little parking area that they're looking for up by their garage, essentially they have it staked out at this point, but I guess they still have to remove the gravel down by the culvert. So.
What I'm
we'll
really
let us-
curious about is the load-bearing silt fence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And what's gonna happen when they remove that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, when they, let us know that they are ready for a site walk, let us know and we'll see how many people
Please
can go.
schedule that when I'm available. I wanna see
Yes.
this load-bearing silt
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're probably gonna have to do weekends now that it's starting to get dark at
I know,
the end of the
yes.
day, so.
Yeah, especially after we changed the clocks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bummer. All right, land acquisition, nothing. Land management, Powder House CR.
Yeah, I gotta work on making the edits that we suggested last time, so.
Okay.
Working through that.
Okay. Trail maintenance.
No major developments recently, but Rob Horn and I are working on a plan to build that bridge at Lester Ross. And now that the vegetation has died back, I'm gonna go flag some roots at Brewer Brook and get approval if you wanna give me approval, or just pull a Walter and tell me to just do it, either way.
Just do it.
All right. Good job. Thank you.
Where do you need it done? Let me know.
I'll give you a
Okay.
shout.
Go away. All right, the other thing is, I did walk the railroad. I met them down to 495, and I thought they said east end, so what they meant is from Coben Road, the whole stretch that they want to do. So I got them back up to the Coben Road and walked it. We parked at the Old Town Barn on Carter Street, and I took them in, and I explained to them the old county road and how they could get off and get away from the old Berlin house and the beautiful historic area the McKelts have there. And But frankly, they didn't seem to be too receptive. They weren't very receptive because it costs a little bit of money to divert it away. If you start at the town barn and divert it away from McKelt's, there is an area that needs a little fill and stuff, but it's any small contractor in Berlin could do it with no sweat. It's not a big deal. And get on the old county right away and go down and follow it, which would be better than staying up on the mound along Route 62 anyway with all those houses. It's nice down in through there. So they bought into that, but they kind of wanted to go all the way to Colburn Road on the rail bed, the existing rail bed, and then drop down and go around. But anyway, that's where I am. I told Paul about it, but you seem to be in the lead of this thing, so I'm gonna kind of back away from it, but you have the contact. I didn't get the names of those
There'll be
people.
a public session for people to weigh in.
Will they?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a good chance to do it. All right, that's good. We'll
Yep.
talk about it then, see where they're coming from.
Yep.
And see what kind of bargaining we have. If they say, well, they don't wanna go down and follow the old county road, which would be cheaper than getting up on top of the other rail bed and everything, I think we could say, well, we won't let you go on our county road in our conservation land if you don't go over around McKellar. So I just feel we should try to help. The McKellar place is the only place along the rail trail that would really be impacted. It's right in their backyard. So we could move it over the other side to go all the way through Berlin and be no trouble at all, you know. Plus it would make a nicer trail. But anyway, that's where we are. So we can talk about that at the public hearing.
Mhm.
Should be coming up in a couple of months or something.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. I mean,
Okay,
I'm
so
thinking maybe
what-
January, but I don't know. I
Okay.
gotta follow up with those guys.
All right.
I'd like to understand the routing a little bit more. Like I'm not fully familiar with all these.
Is it
But-
possible to look on that, show it on that map back there?
Oh, sure. Well, we'll have a hearing, and we're gonna have the hearing anyway, but,
When's the hearing?
Never mind.
Dark once again.
Oh, it goes to an hour now when you press it.
Oh.
Think we can get done in an hour?
The rail come down, goes along here,
Yeah.
and this is Colburn Road, but this is the old county road all along through here. And there's an old county road that goes down this side of Colburn. The McKelts are right here.
Okay.
And the town barn is here. It could be dropped over raised over the other side of the trail, come down through here, be rather interesting. The slope isn't too much. And it's continue on the county road all the way up to here to whatever's gonna happen up there. They built bridges across major highways, so I don't know if they'll bridges the five corners or what.
So we don't wanna stay on the rail bed then?
I don't think so.
But here, like, the trail that I ride, is you go, through, there's, the railroad bed is here, but
Yeah.
then you can't kind of, there is property there, you have to go up and over and then down a hill to get to Coburn, and then, yeah, like, Walter said, this is a really nice trail, it goes through here, it's all over
He's
Rome.
talking about doing the old county road and
So
then
do
dropping
they
back
ever
down.
plan to
On
go
that
beyond
side.
Colburn
Oh,
Don't we
Road?
already
Say that again?
Do they
Yeah,
ever
there's
plan
houses
to go
along
Oh,
beyond?
there.
oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
gonna go all the way to
But you mean that
Northampton.
Right,
road that
'cause they would
goes
have
off
to
of
go
Coburn
behind
Well,
here.
Yeah,
the
that's
thing
that
he's
trail.
They would
saying
have
is
to
because
divert
it
That's
is
the
a
trail that
railroad
we're on.
bed is
a
probably on
conservation
top of
land,
And then
Yeah.
and there are
There is a
houses,
cutover
the
that
rail bed is
takes you
high, and there are houses
And
along
also-
62 right here.
See, this
So if it was dropped down
What's that?
So we're
on
pushing
the
it on the
side,
other side. and then-
Where
correct,
Tom
away from the
Overland
Aldous house.
Yeah, this is all the,
They own.
this is
All right,
The
we've
railroad
lost
bed.
I've lost control of this meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Ross, yeah.
That's Ross, right?
Either we'll walk it Sunday or Saturday, whenever you wanna get out.
Okay.
Show it to you.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to be careful about pushing it away from one person's house.
Yeah.
Closer to another person's house. Would
Yeah.
be my biggest
I agree.
contribution to that.
I agree.
So,
I don't see that happening.
Anything else, sir? Walter?
No.
You good? Okay. All right. Acre Woods.
Baker Woods. So the our owl banding season has started up. We have banded, I think, 38 northern saw-whats so far this season. We had one foreign recapture the first night that was originally banded in Virginia. Yep. Back in 2022. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, we plan on, this is just the start of the season, so we do plan on going back out. We'll be out there Friday night.
What species are they?
Northern saw-whats.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've already caught 38 of them?
Yeah.
Is that, how many did you catch last year?
Last year, I think we caught 52 altogether. So
Wow.
yeah,
Right.
we're off to a great start. We had
Did you
And
get
you've
any
been out
great
3
gray
ni-
owls yet?
no.
3 nights or 4?
We've been out, I think, 4 nights. So the first night we went out, we set up the nets and we're like, we might as well try and see what happened. We ended up with 18 of them.
Wow.
So, yep.
Right.
And then
And then
The next night
it's
we
been
had
like,
2.
it's been
It's
like
like-
Tuesday, Friday
Yeah.
so far,
So are
yeah.
they
Yeah.
migrating, Maddie?
Yep. So these
Where do
guys
they-
migrate
Where
through.
are they headed for?
So some will hang out here for the winter. Maybe they'll go as far as like the Carolinas, Alabama, that area.
Hmm.
But yeah, they do migrate
They're
through in the
only
winter.
little buggers,
Yeah.
aren't they?
They're
It's
just
so
like
cool.
tiny.
Yeah,
And you get
yeah.
to pat them.
Yep. Yep.
Bite your finger off, because they're
Uh,
owls.
Yeah. But yeah, feel free to join. I'll send out emails pretty much it's kind of the last minute, like, hey, we are gonna go out tonight. But
Yeah, last night the wind calmed right down too.
yeah, it did.
Yeah,
Yep, but I was surprised we didn't catch anything.
yeah.
But ended up being there till midnight the first night we tried, where we had 18 because we kept catching them. So we're like,
Yeah.
we'll stay for another run.
Makes work the next day awfully fun.
It does. And then no updates on the forest stewardship plan. I haven't heard anything from Gary since he said he would do the work.
Yeah.
You know,
sheet there.
Gary. I've
Fits
been
and
talking to
starts.
Gary for about 5 months on this, and I'm beginning to get a little impatient on this. I don't know, now he did this plan, but if we're gonna implement it, there are other ways to implementing it, you
Right.
know? But if he's gonna take it seriously, he's always, I'm up to my ears, I'm up to my ears. And I talked to him a week ago, same thing. So I'm gonna look into finding out, talk to other towns that have done plans and find out who they had do them and
Okay.
if they were satisfied, find out what people feel about this,
Yeah.
you know, because it's
Great.
dragging on, it's crazy. This is a good time of year to have been up there and doing it, leaves are off the
Right.
trees, we could really do something, so.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate the work he has done for us and would love
Right.
to have him do the next phase. But if he's too busy to even give us a quote, then,
Well, I'll bring back alternatives if I can find
Yeah.
any, and you can make a decision. you
Yeah.
know. I'll
Yep.
see what I can do.
I was gonna say, we have a grant for this, right?
Yeah,
well, we had a grant for the plan.
Okay.
Yep, the plan was essentially free through
Okay.
the state
Right.
with this grant.
And if we were to implement any part of the plan, we would probably be looking for more grant money.
Right, and
I-
potentially money from the timber that they collect will also cover.
Right.
well,
The
that's,
management.
the one thing, working with Gary though, it's my understanding, and I may be wrong, that all of it will come out of the forest work, so we won't be paying more money.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I'll,
Yeah.
are you familiar with that?
That sounds right. So basically, they make money out of the timber that they take because they are going to take stuff that they can
Right,
use.
Right.
Right.
All right,
But there are
Yeah.
additional DCR grants that go towards implementing your forest stewardship plan. So if you want to do invasives and stuff, that they're not going to make any money off of that
yeah.
to remove invasives for us. But
Right.
Yeah, I talked to him, God, it must be 3 or 4 months ago, and he was going to send me a contract,
Mhm.
which I've never received. Did he
Yeah.
send you anything?
he is not. But so the most recent email was probably 3 weeks ago, just saying he would put together.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because we really ought to pursue that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and after owl season, but before songbird season
Exactly.
would be ideal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Right, right.
yeah,
Otherwise, you're gonna catch a loader in those nets.
Yeah.
right? All right, well, I mean, that's all I have. Anybody else have anything? Oh.
Louise had.
Oh, so we talked about that.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
we'll put it on the agenda for
Okay.
the next
Yeah.
meeting,
Perfect.
just because it really
Right.
should be
Yep.
an
Yeah.
agenda item.
Okay.
Right, that was a last minute thing today.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And Lexi will be, I think will be back. I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
The, just as point of interest there, I have a few cameras, but there's someone else in town, a friend of mine that has cameras. He's a nut deer hunter, worse than I am.
What?
You should see the pictures of the bucks. He's getting all over town. I mean, I shouldn't say this, we don't want hunters coming here, but it is just 10 pointers, drop tine, beautiful bucks in different areas of town. We're loaded with deer in this town.
Yeah, every
quite a-
night when I'm leaving Avery Woods, I see, you know how you come out right at the Rainville's farm
Yeah.
and throughout their field by
Oh, right,
headlights.
right.
There's so
I
many
know it.
bucks out
I
there
know it, I know
just
it.
hanging out.
I've got to stand down over the hill.
Yeah.
Take 'em out of there.
wow.
But they know when it's hunting season,
They
'cause they
do.
all hang
The-
out by the
the house,
houses.
yep, they're like,
They
nope.
know, they're pretty darn smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's archery season, you don't have to worry.
No, but yeah, but then I'm just saying that they just know when it's hunting season, so they hang out where
Oh,
they
they
know
do.
they can't be
Excuse me,
shot
I
at.
misunderstood you.
No,
You're
that's
right.
what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. They're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
smart.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel like
I
there was a
would-
hunter up in Nager Woods the other night.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and we parked up there. They're probably like, "What are these weirdos doing?"
What
Well,
time
that's
was
all right.
he
They
coming
can't-
out?
they can't-
After dark?
I was
Yeah, it
gonna-
was after dark that they came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I
hopefully
wish they'd hang out near my house.
Yeah.
but they
Oh,
don't.
well, yeah, I know Duncan had his thing like right by ours. I'm like, Duncan, what are you doing? Like literally pointing at our backyard.
Yikes.
But that's where all the deer hang out.
Yeah.
Technically, it's not near our house, so I guess
500
that's what he's
feet.
thinking.
Right.
Whatever.
It's 500 feet.
Yeah.
All
the
right.
rule.
Anybody have anything else?
Well, you got my message on the bear.
They did. Yeah, hold on. Anybody have anything else for the meeting?
Well, okay, that's it.
I could make a motion.
I would love for you to make a motion.
I make a motion that we end the meeting at 7:57 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.